Hi guys, welcome back to Girl Therapy. I'm your host Nicole. Thank you so much for joining me another week. Updates. First of all, okay, if you see me, I'm like cuddled up in like a blanket, my hoodie. Basically, last week my AC stopped working. And I couldn't tell if I was just going crazy or what was going on with it, because there's been a few times where like it'll maybe like not work for a few hours. I just feel like that's pretty normal in Florida because we're all always like blasting AC, especially in buildings, and they do a lot of maintenance and stuff like that. Long story short though, I was like, okay, this thing is not going on. So I finally reached out to my landlord and I was like, hey, like the AC is not working. Can you send somebody out here? Poor guy had to come out here on Valentine's Day. I was like, do you have a girlfriend? He was like, no. I was like, okay, good. I don't want to like be keeping you from somebody. Oh my God, my cat just did something crazy. My cat's also been insane today. I'll tell you about that in a second. But I'm like dipping chocolate in like strawberries and chocolate and like making pasta. And the man's like in my AC unit, like in the kitchen too, because like it shared whatever. Minor details, but it was just really funny. I'm like watching Love is Blind with him, like dipping strawberries, and he's like fixing my AC. But anyways, he fixed it, and I've just been like basking in the coldness now. And I'm like, oh my God, now I've like got kind of used to it being hot, and now I'm always freezing. I also think from doing like so much hot yoga and obviously living in Miami, like I'm used to warmer temperatures, but I also like love the AC. But I feel like it's either all or nothing with me. But basically I'm like, okay, I've just been enjoying my AC'd apartment again, and it's starting to get hot out in Miami. So I'm like cuddled up in a blanket and a hoodie, and I'm just like really cozy vibes right now. Also my cat woke me up this morning because she was like running around like crazy. Normally that's not that abnormal, but it was like different. She was like just being super annoying. And I looked down because she's at the right side of me, and she's like barnyard scooting. If you don't know what that is, like, I don't know, we used to call it that when my dogs used to do it, but like it's when the animals like rub their assholes on the floor to like scratch it. Or so I'm like, okay, obviously there's something stuck in her butthole. Usually it's like my hair or something, but it was like tinsel from, I don't know, probably some like PR that I got that she must have like eaten. So it was like dangling from her butt. So I woke up to her literally scooting around, rubbing her nasty ass butt all over my carpets with like poop. I'm like, this is not how I want to be greeted. Then she has the audacity to jump up on my bed smelling like, I was like, no. So I'm cleaning my sheets right now too. Like everything's getting cleaned because I'm like, that was not how I wanted to be woken up at 8 a.m. on a Monday. But we continue on. But yeah, so yesterday also was me and Donna's Yoga Lattes and Yap event, and it went so well. I will say, like, just to be completely honest, you guys who follow 365 community or like RSVP'd or whatever, like it was a free event with gifting. And I know free events are tough because people will commit and then not come. People just want to like RSVP to something. But with something like that, we probably should have charged or something, because people didn't show up, and it's so unfair to the people who actually would have came or wanted to come, and people just like signed up, and we set it at a capacity, right? Because we didn't want people to come and then not get gift bags. And I would say like, I think like 10 people didn't come. So it's kind of frustrating because it's like, we expect you guys to show up if you're gonna RSVP, and when you don't, it's like, I'm not taking it personal. I understand things happen, obviously, but I'm just kind of like, come on guys, like I expect that better. Like, you guys are my friends. Don't say you're gonna come to something, don't be begging for events and this and that and then not show up, because it makes me mad. But I also understand. I think just because it was my first one and we really put like a lot into it, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, everything was perfect. And then like the partners obviously gifted us stuff, so I wanted to make sure that it was going to people and it wasn't just a waste. But now we know for next time, like for events, unfortunately, like we want to make them free, but free means people aren't going to come. Like people just, that's just what we're learning, and it's too almost accessible where, you know, whatever, or just do free and no gifting, and we make it like a massive RSVP, because I'm learning like if 20 people RSVP, probably only 10 people will show up. It's like always like half and half. So it's just all part of us learning about the process and how this thing goes. But like, I'm so grateful for the people who did come. It was still a full house. It was still 30 people there. the people who supported us were there and brought great energy, and it was really fun, and people connected just like how we wanted to. That's what we wanted the event to be about, was people meeting and talking. And there's a ton of events in Miami, and health and wellness is definitely up and coming in Miami. It has been for a while, but I think it's been more at the forefront, more present, more sober things, more sober people, more active lifestyle. And we have the events, but it's like, then do we have the connection that's happening at the events? And this is all going to come full circle into what I'm talking about today, which is making friendships, building friendships, continuing friendships, fostering friendships. Because my number one question is always, how do you make new friends, especially when you move to a new city? So I just want to share with you guys, like, what I'm doing personally is I'm building community. And that's something that I've done on a personal level. And now it's something that I want to do on a business level, which is create community for you guys to connect and to really connect, not just go to an event and take pictures. I mean, connect. I mean, come home with friends, new friendships, budding friendships, people that you can build businesses, brands with, people who inspire you, motivate you, people who you want to be like. And me and Donna met at a 437 event just a couple months ago, and it was a small event, and intimate events are great for the reason of you go in and you talk to people, but you have to initiate. And I initiated a conversation with Donna. I sat down next to her at a 437 event. There was probably like 10 people there. Everybody was kind of spaced out awkwardly. Like if you came alone, people would not sit at the mat next to you, but leave one mat in between. And it's like, why? We're here to all talk. We're here for the same reason, sit next to somebody. Or if they were sitting next to somebody, it was somebody who they went with, or it was a friend. So when I went alone. I love to go to events alone. It's a way for me to put myself out there, and you open yourself up to new people when you do that. And I sat next to Donna, and I just struck up conversation with her. I can't even remember what I said. I probably was like, "Hi, I'm Nicole." And she was like, "Hi, I'm Donna." And we just got to talking. And that's something that I'm really good at. I'm good at initiating. I don't really have any fear of like rejection, especially when it comes to like females, like girls. I assume that people are going to like me because that's been the pattern for the most part. Like that's a quality about me, is like I'm confident of who I am. And for the most part, like I assume people are going to like me. If you don't like me, then you don't like me. That's okay. Like that's probably maybe a personal thing, or maybe I'm not your cup of tea. But for the most part, I go into situations assuming people are going to like me. And that's not like a cocky thing. It's just, I'd rather assume that than assume they're not going to like me. So there's no really fear of rejection. So I sit next to her. I start talking to her. I'm like, okay, this is a cool girl. Like I know with people really quickly, whether or not we're actually going to connect deeper and whether this friendship's going to go somewhere or not. And just because like I'm certain of my values and the type of people that I want to welcome into my life. And for her, first of all, being at a Pilates 437 event, like that spoke enough volumes to me in itself, where it's like, okay, like we both kind of live a similar lifestyle. We both enjoy Pilates. We both enjoy working out. She was really like cool, down to earth. We're both recording. So I'm like, okay, she also is part-time influencer, vlogger, like does similar content to me. And we exchange numbers. And this is like the one thing that I will say. If you are going to create female friendships, if you want to create friendships at all, period, you do not throw out we should get together sometime. That is such like a half-assed way to be like, oh, we should try to initiate plans with somebody. How many people say that? People say that all the time. Whenever somebody says that to me, I'm just like, cut the bullshit. Do you want to make a plan or not? You know what I mean? It's like, you probably are not going to see me. I don't say that anymore. I do not say, oh, we should hang out sometime if I don't mean it. And I don't even say we should hang out sometime. I say, we should hang out sometime. I'm actually free on Tuesday or Wednesday. Do you want to go grab coffee, or do you want to go do this workout class together? Or do you want to do this together? Or do you want to come to this with me? Or should we do, like, I make a plan. Don't just throw out, oh, we should get together sometime. Oh, let's hang out soon. That's so broad, and people have lives, and people have prior plans, and people have stuff going on. People already have friendships in their lives. Like, why would they choose to invite the new person over somebody who, like, they've known, who's their friend? You know what I mean? It's like we prioritize the people in our lives who are also prioritizing us. So it's a lot more attractive for somebody to be like, hey, like, we have to go out. Let's go out for the coffee on this date, or do this on this date, than it is for somebody just to say, hey, let's maybe hang out sometime. That's like a guy asking you on a date and he's being like, oh, maybe we should go out sometime. It's like, ew, that's so unattractive. Be like, oh, are you free on Friday night? I want to take you to dinner. Yes. There we go. Showing me that person actually wants to see me, is not trying to waste my time, actually wants to hang out, actually wants to build connection, get to know me. So you have to do that with girls too. And I know it's hard because we're girls. We're like, we want to be chased. We want to be this. Well, when it comes to female friendships, we're all on the same playing field. Okay. Somebody's got to make the first move. I'm not afraid to do it, because if I want you in my life, I will snag you and I will bring you into my friendship circle. And because I talked to Donna and put myself out there, me and her grabbed coffee. I believe it was 2 days later. We actually grabbed lunch. We went as far to do lunch. It was not just the coffee. We did lunch. We sat down. We ate. We had food. We just got to know each other more. And that's how 365 was born, which is the community and the app that we were building together. We were building a brand. We're building a business together now because I said hi to her. Had I never done that, I wouldn't be where I am now. And it just shows how important community is, because the people next to you who you're maybe not talking to, who you're not mingling with, that could be your newest business partner. That could be your newest best friend. That could be somebody who gives you $1 million idea. That could be someone who pushes you to do this, to do that. That could be someone who introduces you to your future husband. It's like a web, and you never know who you're going to meet. And all it takes is a simple hello. And if you don't foster those connections, if you don't nurture those things that are right in front of you and really take advantage of them, then you're missing out on so many things. And community is everything. And the what me and Donna hope to do is to give back what community gave to us. That 437 event brought me and her together, which then born a business, which is now creating an empowering, inclusive, and another community for women, or anybody, but mostly geared towards women, because we're women and we have women followings and we like to do Pilates and yoga. And I'm not, expecting that to be primarily male. Of course, we can have some guys here and there. We love that as well. We want guys to feel connected to and understand women. That's important. But for the most part, it's about bringing women together and inspiring one another, not competing against one another, talking to one another, getting that connection and bond, because 1 in 4 Americans are lonely. 1 in 4. That's a lot of people. A lot of people feel lonely, and especially adults. And the younger generation's even more lonely, because we're all chronically online. We're all on our computers. We're all on our phones. We don't know how to build friendships. It's like my number one question, I kid you not, is how do I make new friendships? And I mean, like, just to start from the very, very beginning, we have to go back to attachment style, because we always think attachment style is just related to relationships, and relationships are always at our forefront. But I think as you get older, we start to be like, okay, well, yes, I do want a partner. Yes, I do want a boyfriend. I want a fiance. But that person's not going to be everything to me. I also need friendships. I need other people around me to build me up, to support me, to hang out with me, to be my outlet. Like, your partner can't be everything to you. And I think maybe I think it just shifts when you're older, where you crave more of like a tribe, and a close tribe too, because you never know. Like, my mom, was never really one to like have a group of friends, and she never fostered those friendships. And that's just maybe a personality, that's maybe a learned behavior. And again, we'll go back to attachment style. But like, when her and my dad separated, she didn't really have a lot of people to lean on, which then put a lot of pressure on me and my sister. And also just how my mom communicated with us, was a result of her attachment style from her parents, and how she handled that situation, which then affected my attachment style. But also just her only having me and my sister to kind of talk to, or to not talk to, right? Like, depending. But she really needed, I think, that female connection, that female bond, and she didn't have that. And she still struggles with creating connections. And there are people who are right in front of her who are great women and who want to hang out with my mom and who initiate friendship, and she just can't keep the friendship. Like, she doesn't know how to create long-lasting friendships, meaningful friendships. And the importance of that has been lost, I think, in her generation too, of like, get married, your husband's your everything, they provide you this, that, right? And it's like, there was never instilled in her in like how important female friendships are. Similar to like whether or not you have a boyfriend or this or that, don't drop your female friends because you have a boyfriend. Your boyfriend might not be there forever. Don't drop everybody because you have a husband. Your husband might not be there forever. He might die. He might cheat on you. He might leave. You might want to leave. And it's important to have people to lean on in those situations. But when we are born, our parents show us what are kind of like the blueprint of what we expect other people to treat us like in the future. We expect that we learn from our parents. They show us love, and we learn then how we receive love from our parents, what love means to us from our parents. They're our first, human interactions who we're around continuously. And we assume that other people are then going to treat us like our parents did. And all of our behaviors stem from our parents and what we've learned. And then we go out in the world and we grow up and we apply those things that we learned without even knowing. And so it's important to be aware of these things so that if it's wrong, we can fix it. And then we can fix generations to come after us, but also make sure that we are not letting that get in the way of our adult friendships. Yes, these things happen to you. Yes, this is what we've learned. But as an adult who is aware, you can change these things now. You're not always just the product of your environment. Like, you're not just subjected to that. You're not just because like I grew up and I maybe have, so like my parents, for example, let's just get into me, separated. I would say my parents were always there, like, well, not even always there physically. I will say I was always taken care of. I always had food. I was always under a roof. They weren't always the most reliable, but like for the most part, if I needed something, I could always ask my parents and it was there provided for me. Was there emotional support? Not so much. Like, I don't think I ever sat down with my parents and they ever like really nurtured my emotions. I don't remember my parents showing love in like a very affectionate way. They did towards each other. That was a little scarring. But never really towards my sister and I. And that's because I think my mom's mom wasn't very affectionate. And I don't think she ever like hugged my mom, said that she loved her, anything like that. I think they were pretty cold Italians and strict. And I think like my mom is a little bit uncomfortable showing affection. And she never really learned how to voice that. And there wasn't a lot of emotional support. Like, I remember being a very angry child and I didn't really have an outlet. And no one ever sat me down and said, Nicole, why are you so angry? It was like, throw her into sports, get her into martial arts, let her get her anger out that way. Sure, that turned into a great outlet for me. But now it's like when I'm sad or angry, I tend to go take it out on myself in a way, in the sense of like, okay, I'll just go to the gym and shut down. I'll just shut down my emotions and I'll work out. I'll go for a really long run. I'll stop eating. It translated into that as I got older too, of like, what can I control? And it wasn't so much me nurturing my emotions. And it wasn't until I found yoga that I was able to like go internally. And yoga is a very emotional release for me, and a workout that's like healthy. And it's not me running away from something. It's me facing things, but that's a whole other thing. So there's the avoidant. I would say I'm partially avoidant, or that's how I grew up for sure. And it's when you're not getting the emotional support, so you shut down. Yeah, you shut down your emotions because your parents never nurtured those. Maybe if you cried, they'd be like, oh, stop crying. Or if you were upset about something, oh, like, who cares? Get over it. Basically, you were made to feel stupid for having emotions. So your instinct is to be independent. Oh, I can handle it on myself. Push people away, because connection is threatening. Connection is like, someone could take that away from me and then I feel weak. So I'm just going to go about on my own, and that's the safest thing for me. So a lot of the times these people are lone wolves. They just go out in the world and it's just them against the world, and they're happy with that, and they self-isolate and they isolate and they keep to themselves. Yeah, they're not vulnerable. It's very hard for them to get vulnerable. And they're not really very generous with people, and they're very self-sufficient, and they're not very supportive. So somebody who, if you're looking for friendships, and maybe this is like a sign of somebody who maybe wants to have female friendships, but might be taken as a not girl's girl because she has an avoidant attachment style, and is a little bit threatened by other girls because they're just scared of, caring for somebody and then them not reciprocating. So they just kind of keep to themselves, or they don't support another woman because they're just avoidance. And that's not, it's sad because it can translate as not a girl's girl. And then people will then be like, oh, I don't want to be friends with that person. And then that makes that person feel judged and feel like, oh, well, female friendships aren't for me. I can't do the girl thing. Like, they're so catty, they're so petty, they're so this. Like, it's just, it creates kind of a mess. And then there's the anxious attachment style, which I think I'm a little mix of an anxious and an avoidant, but I've worked on these things a lot, so thank God. But basically, anxious attachment is somebody who needs a lot of validation, and they feel like they always have to be giving in order to feel like they are accepted, in order to feel like people want them and like them, because they think, you're going to leave me if I'm not always trying really hard. So these are the people who maybe like go a little bit too above and beyond. They stretch themselves a little bit too thin, make themselves a little bit too accessible, make them just are doing too much, especially like too early on, because they're afraid that people will leave. And if they are not getting the validation or the appreciation in return, they start to shut down. They start to be like, well, this isn't working. This person doesn't like me. And then they leave. Then they don't want the friendship anymore. And that's not healthy either. It's not healthy to be functioning in a way that you think you're always going to be abandoned, and you're doing things because you don't want to be abandoned. And that's why I'm a mix of the two, is because sometimes I feel like with my parents, I always had to be like doing something great, or like showing, like achieving something, or something to be getting their attention and their validation, because they weren't always there. And I kind of had to like prove myself a little bit. But then there was the other side where it was like, I had to be really self-sufficient and on my own because they weren't catering to me emotionally. And I wasn't sure if they were going to show up. So it was better for me to protect myself and just be like, I'm an independent person who can do this on my own, than to rely on my parents and then have my feelings shut down regardless, or have them not show up and then be disappointed. So it's really just a protection mechanism. It's not like a bad thing, right? It's like what we do for survival. If we were in the wilderness and we were animals and our parents abandoned us, the options are to just die and become a victim, or to become self-sufficient and to go out in the world and survive. And that's what we do. We just did this as an instinct of survival. So it's important to understand it on that baseline, where it's like, you're doing this as a human to stay afloat and to do what you have to do. Now we don't have those like as fight or flight things, they're not as much as at stake anymore, in terms of like, we don't need to have a tribe also to survive, which maybe plays a role into why we're okay with being so isolated and alone. It's like, I could not see anybody for the rest of the year and I'd be okay, in the sense of like, I would survive. Emotionally, would I be okay? No, but like, I could survive, like, I don't need to rely on, well, I guess I would have to like Uber Eats and stuff. Like if I were to not go out in the world, like I would have to rely on somebody to deliver my food. But like in the sense of like, I don't need to have a bunch of friendships around me to, at a core level, survive, which I think is bad because like really we do need our community to make us feel fulfilled and happy and joyful and connected, and connection is everything. And then we have the secure people who were raised just with parents who validated them and were there, and they trust that people will like them, they trust that people will show up for them, they're very open and vulnerable, and they're really good at building connection. And I think even though I've have anxious and attachment styles growing up, even though that has been me and that's kind of like what I was instilled in me as a child, I think I've done a lot of work and healing where I've gotten to a point where I'm very secure. Like I do assume, like I was saying at the beginning, I do assume people are going to like me. I do assume that people are going to show up for me. I am very trusting. I'm very vulnerable. I've gotten better at not being too open. I think that could be a thing where it was like, I feel like I always had like overshare, go for that like shock, value, or you say something funny or crazy for people to like me. And I weaned away from that a lot. And I just assumed that people are just going to like me for who I am and not because I'm crazy or brought this crazy story to the table, or because I'm very funny, or because I'm the loudest one, or I feel like I have to make myself the loudest one for people to notice me. Like, I don't feel that way anymore. And I think that's just come with age and a lot of like healing and growing up and learning to know myself, and also just fostering other female friendships that have validated me in the sense where like I'm a good friend. I know, and I've also worked on how I am as a friend, and I'm constantly evolving. I don't think I've always been a great friend to people. I've learned, I've made mistakes, and now that I'm almost turning 30, it's like I do have very strong female friendships in my life, and I continue to make strong friendships all the time, and I'm continue to bring new people into my life. And the people who are in my life this year, a lot of them weren't even in my life last year. And I'm proud of the friendships that I've left behind in the past. And I'm also proud of the new friendships that I've opened up to and I've welcomed into my life, and that are blossoming right now. So I think the first thing is for you to kind of figure out where you are on that spectrum. Are you anxious? Are you avoidant? Are you secure? Are you a mix? And being open to the fact that that's not just about dating. That's not just about relationships. That's in your friendships too. So know those things so that you can then figure out what type of friend that you are. First, how do we make friends? I think why it's hard as an adult is because, one, we have lives, we have jobs, we have families potentially, we have things that we have to go to, chores, obligations, errands. Life gets really busy. It's like hard to live. It's like, why do we have to do so much to live? Like, I could spend a whole day today just doing that stuff that I have to do just to like, and then for the day to finish, be like, well, I just did that stuff just to like, I don't know, like live. You know what I mean? It's like, I have to go get toilet paper. I have to go get this. I have to run to Target. I have to organize this. I have to do this. And it's like, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I could distract myself for a week straight with stuff that I have to do. So our schedules get really busy, and sometimes friendships can fall to the wayside because it's like, no, this isn't a pressing matter. This isn't something I have to. I don't have to grab coffee with my friend. I don't have to grab lunch with my friend. Like, I don't have to go to that party. I don't have to go to that happy hour. I don't have to go to that book club. I don't have to go to that yoga class. Like, you don't have to do those things, but are they really, really important? Yes. So I think you just need to like, one, bite the bullet and be like, you have to make time for these things. You have to go out there and try. Friendships are not just going to find you. Somebody's not just going to land in your lap just because you're at the event either, or at the happy hour, or at the yoga class, or at the book club, or at the run club, or whatever. Just because you're there does not mean that you are going to make friends just by being there. You have to try. You have to smile at people. You have to put yourself out there. You have to say hello. You have to go into places and try to create friendships and be open to that, and go in assuming that people are going to like you. People want you there. People want to enjoy your company. There's somebody there who wants to meet you, and you want to meet somebody. But I also think, don't go into places being like so high stakes. Oh, this person, I have to meet somebody who's going to be my best friend here. And if I don't meet somebody here, this was a waste of my time and I don't ever want to go back again. No. There is a theory that the more that we see people who are in your vicinity, who you see more often, you're more likely to like. And a simple fact of this is, when I started teaching yoga, my first class, okay, meet some people. Second class, oh, a familiar face. She was just in my class the day before. Next class, oh, she was there. She's been in my class 3 weeks in a row. I start to talk to them more. We start to create a friendship. I start to trust that they're going to show up. Like, I start to like become friends with them because I see them more. The person who came to my class once, yes, maybe I talked to them. Maybe we had some sort of exchange. We're starting to build, but then they don't come back to my class. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't remember them. I don't see them again. And they're spotty. So there's not as much of a chance to build a friendship or to build a connection. But the people who come to my class more often, I build connections with, and I just immediately like them. They become a familiar face. So the more that you frequent somewhere, the more likely you are to just build a connection with somebody and in a more natural way. And like, I've become actual friends with people in my yoga classes. Like, this girl came to my class a few times. She started to like, we would talk, and then she would like tag me in an Instagram story, and like I'd see her, and then I like remember her name. Now I'm like, okay, face to name. The next time she comes in, hi Carolina, like blah blah blah. Like I see her name on the list. I talk to her. Me and her start to just like build more rapport as she keeps coming. Like every time she comes, I'll like have a little bit more conversation. Then we have something to build off of. Oh, how did this go? How did this go? Oh, what do you do for work? Oh, and then I'm asking her about like, the stuff that she does. And then the next time I see her, I'm like, oh, let's go to a class and then grab coffee afterwards. And then me and her go to grab coffee. And then now on Fridays, we go do coffee and pastries. And then she just came to my first event. And then this and that. And it's like, she's always shown up. And seeing her continuously made her somebody who was like, okay, a character in my life. And now I was able to be like, okay, do I want to take this like a step further? And I know this sounds crazy, but like, it's not. It's really not. It's like, oh, I really enjoy this person. I want to continue to get to know them. And I initiated, grabbing coffee with her. And now she's a friend. And she's somebody who I actually really value in my life. And I see a real friendship with. She's a cool girl. And it only started because she would continuously come to my classes, and we built rapport, and I just got comfortable with her. And the more I saw her, the more I got to know her, the more I learned about her in the space that, we had in that an hour, I was then able to be like, oh, like I actually want to like do something outside of this. So sign up for things or go to places often. Go to the same places often. Don't just go to one thing and be like, well, now I don't know anybody, and like, or like be like, oh, I didn't meet anybody there, so I'm never gonna go again. Try to like join a club that meets every week so that you start to see people and get familiar with them. I mean, this is even true with like the coffee shops that I go to or the walks that I go on. I see very similar people, the same people almost all the time. Like I've created a friendship with the woman who works at Pura Vida because I see her every morning. Hey Cami, how are you? Like every time we go, we build more rapport, and I get to know more about her because I see her all the time. And I like her. She's someone who I just like, and we like each other. And like, that's what you have to do, is you have to continue to go to places. Don't just assume that someone's going to be your best friend right away. Just like when you're dating too. Do you want the guy who love bombs you? Maybe it feels good, but it's like anything that starts fast like that burns out. Create friendships that are a little bit of a slow burn. It's going to take a little while. It's going to take you going back every week, and that's okay. It's also going to take effort, and it's going to take you initiating and being like, hey, let's go do this. Put something on the books and go do it. It's going to take effort, but go do it. Is the effort worth the connection? You have to think. Yes, I know it's a lot of work. Just like anything in life, your job, this or that, but you have to think big picture. Is this connection, me leaving this coffee date, how am I going to feel after I go do this thing with this person, or after I go hang out with them? Like every time I hang out with somebody, I really enjoy the way that I feel afterwards. I feel like I just bonded with them. I feel like I just, I didn't overthink in that time. I think that's also really important. Connection helps you to stop overthinking, takes you out of the moment, takes you out of your head. When you're isolated and alone, we're overthinking constantly, and then maybe we're thinking negative thoughts, which then is putting weird energy out there in the world, and then we're not going to attract good people, and then whatever. Like, you want to isolate when you're going through stuff too, especially it's like if you're going through boy stuff, family stuff, drama, whatever, this or that. Going out to hang out with somebody can distract you from that, and that's nice. Like, it's so important to have the people to lean on around you and to bond in that way. So join things that you have to attend regularly, and stop putting such high stakes on things that you go to, and make efforts. Say hi to people, smile at people, be uncomfortable for a little bit. And you know what? It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be awkward at first. Like I said, you can't just assume we're going to bang, bang, hit it off. We're not 5 anymore, where it's like, oh my God, she has the same color like lunchbox as me. We're besties. It's not like that. Okay. Like we can't just, we don't build connections like that anymore. Obviously you just become friends with those people. It's a little bit harder in the real world because like life is, a lot bigger. It's not like every single day homeroom see, Erica at 8 a.m. in the morning and that's our bonding time. Like, no, like we don't have that anymore. Maybe people at work, and that's why people become friends with the people that they see at work a lot, is because you see them at work all the time. You are bonding over a shared experience. You're bonding over work. It's repeated. You see them all the time. Bam, friendship. But it takes time. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, you're probably like, Nicole, why did you just turn and now we're viewing you from a different angle? Well, I didn't charge my camera before this, and I thought it'll be fine because I always charge it, and I haven't been recording anything nope, it decided to die. So I have to have you guys plugged in while I record. I don't know if this is gonna work, so I guess we'll find out. But anyways, where was I? Okay, so I think I was talking about like making friends. So yeah, I think like long story short, you have to put yourself out there. You can't just assume that friendship is going to happen for you just because like we're not in school anymore. We're adults. We have to go out there in the world, just like how we have to go out there and date. You have to go out there and date to find friendships. And you know what? It's not always going to work. It's not always going to be somebody who you hit it off with, and that's okay. It's all about building your social skills, and it's all helping you somewhere. Like I'm so good at making friendships because I know myself really well, so I know exactly the type of people that I want to be around. So I just like cut the bullshit at this point. It's like I know if I'm going to like you or if I'm not, or if we're going to get along, or if we're going to fit into each other's lives. And second, it's like I've put myself out there so many times where it's not weird to me anymore. So if it feels uncomfortable, that's okay. Like it means you're putting yourself out there and it's going to feel uncomfortable. Like just because it's uncomfortable does not mean that there's not a connection, or just because it's awkward doesn't mean that the friendship's not going to work. Things are always awkward and weird at first. Like again, similar to dating. First date, maybe a little awkward, maybe a little bit weird, but the more you get to know the person, the more you hang out, the more comfortable you get with them. And you guys just, become more comfortable with one another. So expect friendships to be this same exact way. And go to places that you frequent, go to places often, go to places that you actually want to be in. Don't try to make friends in the club if you don't like the club. Don't try to make friends at the book club if you don't like reading books. Like, I don't think that that's a good idea. Maybe you want to try something new, but then it's just like, do something that you actually enjoy and put yourself around people who you think you're going to enjoy and have similar interests and values as you, because that's a pretty good start. Friends of friends is always helpful too. Sometimes you just need to make one or two, and then they can introduce you to their friends, and then you have new friendships around you that kind of just came to your lap. And a lot of my friendships now are just people in my yoga space, people who are in the workout community, the health and wellness community in Miami. Most of my friends now are Pilates instructors, yoga instructors, at least come to my classes, are in the Mimi yoga community, are instructors themselves. Like that's a big chunk of the people that I hang out with now and who have become my friends. And that's okay. Like, of course, I'm fostering still my other friendships previously, but I have new friendships that I've made because of who I am and who I'm becoming and who I want to be. So then let's tap into how do we maintain friendships, because that's hard too. I have friends who don't live here. Jordan lives in LA. Haley lives in Connecticut. My family lives in Connecticut. I have to continue those friendships and those relationships. I actually have a lot of long distance friends. And those take a lot of time and effort, and it takes having to text that person. Caitlin lives in Austin, having to visit that person, call that person, make time for them. And you know what? It's okay if time goes by. Like me and Haley didn't talk once for like 2 weeks, which is like very abnormal for us. It was like 2 or 3 weeks. We usually at least talk once a week and text in between. And we didn't. And it's not just like, okay, now we throw away that friendship. No, it's like you hit up that person. Oh my God, I miss you. I'm so sorry. Life's been crazy. It's okay to do that. It's okay if you don't talk to your friend for a really long time, but be like, oh, I need to reach out to them. This just reminded me. Make the effort. Reach out to them. Don't just be like, this person's going to be mad at me, or this person's not going to want to be friends with me anymore because life got busy. I mean, if that's the case, then that just maybe shows that they're maybe an avoidant, or maybe you screwed them over, or whatever it is, or maybe you don't want them in your life. But for the most part, like my friends are pretty understanding. If we don't talk for 3 weeks, I have no problem. There's no ego involved, swallowing my pride. Like it wasn't anything personal. I'll just be like, hey, like I'm so sorry. Life's been so busy. We need to catch up. Not let's talk soon. Let's talk tomorrow. What are you doing right now? Can I give you a call? Like make the effort, but then also show like I am going to show up and I'm still reliable. I'm not just going to like blow smoke up your ass or try to like delay timing more. Reach out to your friends. Hey, like we haven't talked in so long. I miss you. How are you? Be genuine, be curious, call them and make a plan and fix it. And, show them that you're putting in the effort. Like people should give you grace. You give people grace. Life happens. Doesn't mean just to throw the friendship away because you guys have been distant recently or you haven't had time for each other recently. make the effort. With your friends in your life now who you have a busy lifestyle, how do I maintain these things? Build them into your lifestyle, build them into your routine. Sometimes me and my friends like to hang out. Like Donna just came over like last week and we literally just sat on the couch together. I edited, she had work calls to do, and that was us hanging out. Like that's what we had to do. And then when we had a free like half hour, okay, let's go grab some lunch and eat something together or dinner. She ended up spending the whole day with me, but like sometimes you have to just sit and do work together and just be in each other's presence. So that's the hangout. Sometimes the hangout is just going to a workout class together. My friends coming to my class, sometimes that's the hangout. Like the friendships that I've been able to maintain and see the most of are honestly people who want to get involved in my life and who I want to get involved in their life. And it's easier to maintain obviously when you have similar interests, because it's like we can just go take a workout class together. It doesn't have to be this whole big thing. Like it's not always let's grab dinner. It's not always let's go to this event together. It's not always let's do the beach day. Sometimes we don't have all that free time to do that stuff. Sometimes it's just we have an hour together, we have to go do this errand together. And yeah, like you can invite people to go do your errands with you. Like, hey, I need to go to Target, I need to go to Walmart, let's make it a day. I need to go to Marshall's, like let's go to Home Goods. Like that sounds fun to me. I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, but like that sounds fun to me because I'd rather do that with somebody else. Like me and my girlfriend Brenna, like we'll do that. We'll do like, okay, like we have to go like run this errand together. Like I don't know, it's just that's just the reality of it. And it's just showing people like, I want to see you. My life's really scheduled. How can I work you into this? And I think that that's not like offensive over like this person's giving me like a bad quality hangout. It's just this person's trying to fit me in when they can see me. Otherwise, I don't know when I'll see them until we can both like have a free moment. Like I literally have to schedule dinners out like 3 weeks in advance with my friends. One, I have to mentally prepare, but two, it's like I have so much stuff going on. I have events, this and that. Sometimes I just want some downtime to myself. So I have to book in like, okay, I know this date, I'm seeing my friend on this Saturday, we're going to grab dinner together. Like, and I'll have that scheduled off on my schedule. And that's another thing. It's like plan in advance. We have like similar to like how you have to go to work every day. You have to do certain things every day. You have certain tasks that you have to complete every day. Why? Because they're already built into your schedule. You have to do those things. Put a plan in place. Again, don't just say, oh, we should do it soon. No, put it in place so that it's on your schedule. And then the rest of the other stuff, you work around it, like, because life is always going to happen. Things are always going to come up. But if okay, on Saturday, I have dinner with Sally. This comes up. Okay, I can plan before or after to do this. Like you work around that person then, and you build the schedule around them when you book it out far enough in advance. So again, it's going to take effort to maintain your friendships. Like you have to try and you have to want it. And it does feel like a lot of work, but you have to think about, is this connection that I feel good? Is this a person that I want in my life? Is this, this is like, it's a form of love. Like it's going to feel good to receive love from that person, to give love to that person. So think about that instead of like the actual effort that it's going to take. Sometimes it's just like the actual effort of doing it. But like once you're there with that person, it's like, oh my God, I don't know why. Like I've been like isolated. I don't know why I didn't want to like see you or hang out with you. Like, I think it was just like the initial, you don't have to say this out loud, but it's just like the initial effort sometimes of doing it is way more like heavy than actually just doing the thing. Similar to folding laundry. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I put it off for so long. And then I just start doing it. I'm like, okay, it wasn't that bad, Nicole. Like same thing with friendships. It's like, yeah, you're going to have to get ready. Yeah, you're going to have to leave your house. Yeah, you're going to have to drive there. You're going to have to do this, that. You're going to have to take time on your schedule. Yeah, maybe you're tired from a long day. But once you get there, it's like, oh, this is nice. Like, this is nice. This is the connection that I want. This is the unwind time that I needed. Like this person I want to get closer with. I want to get to know them. I love being curious about them. I love hanging out with them and spending time with them and this and that. So yeah. And then like also maintaining friendships, being a good friend, being generous, being there for them, supporting them, showing up for them when they need you, good, bad, whatever it is, normal, like just achievements, support, like you just are there for that person and you give to them. Like that creates closeness. When somebody shows up for you, gives to you, is generous to you, you feel closer to that person. You feel more intimate and bonded with that person. And I find myself now like I don't have a boyfriend, but like I want to give love. And if my friend needs me to do something for them, or they want like, I'm like, oh, like I want to like make something for my friend or this or that, or I don't know. I just kind of think like, would I do this for a loved one? Would I do this for a boyfriend? Yeah. So like, why would I not do that for my friend? That's not just something that I give to my boyfriend when I have one, or a partner. Like, that's something that I want my friend to feel as well. It's a favor I'm going to do for my friend as well. I would go out of my way for my boyfriend as well. Like, I don't want to just do things for my, I'm just thinking with that mindset, because your friends are people that you love too, right? Like, we love our friends. We want to show them love. Maybe you're not intimate with them, probably. Well, maybe you are, but just because they're not, you want to show them love. So I think that's a great way to foster closeness and to show people that you care and you love them, and be vulnerable. Like, show them that you value them and their friendship. Go out of your way to do nice things for them sometimes. Like, it feels good, and it creates closeness, and you create a bond, and you just continue to build on that, and that takes your friendship a lot further sometimes. Like, my friend showed up for me yesterday for my event. She was in the middle of a move. She literally is moving. She dropped, yesterday was her moving day. She has stuff all over the place. Her boyfriend's like, where are you going? She's like, I have to go to Nicole's event. He's like, what? Like, we're literally moving. And she's like, I don't care. I need to go. And that just made me feel so much closer to her, because I'm like, wow, like, she had a really stressful day. She had so much going on. She put that to the side just to come to my event for 2 hours and to give me some of her time and to show me love. I feel closer to her. Now the next time that she also wants something or I need to show up for her, I'm so there. No questions asked. It's going to be completely reciprocated. And I just feel like she showed me how she cares for me. She showed me what type of friend she is and what and will be. And it's just I want you in my life, And that made me feel really close to her. When you do nice things for people, it makes you feel closer to them. And you should be doing this and thinking about this with your friends all the time. That's how you maintain your friends. We don't just let things go stale just because they've been in your life forever, or this or that, or maybe it's going to take extra effort. Yeah, do it. Bake them cookies. Give them flowers randomly. Show them love. Be a good friend. And people will reciprocate. And if they don't keep throwing yourself at them. Don't keep whatever. Always, then we get into the anxious attachment style or where we're trying too hard. Make sure it's reciprocated, obviously, and create those connections. And that, I feel like that pretty much wraps it up. I kind of went on a really long tangent of different things, but I think you just need to think about what's the downside of not having friendships? Don't even think about that, actually. It's what are the benefits of having friendships? Where do I want to find these people? And how important is this really to me? And if it's something that's important to you, prioritize it. We prioritize dating, prioritize making friends. Put yourself out there, okay? Stop being shy. Stop assuming people aren't going to like you. Stop assuming that whatever it is you want to assume people are judging you. No, people like you. And if it ends up not being a connection, if it ends up not being a friendship, that's okay. Plenty of people out there to meet. And friendship is one of the best things, and we need it. So prioritize it. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Follow me on TikTok, Nicole_Doyan, Instagram, Nicole Doyan, Snapchat, Nicole Doyan. Follow 365 community, follow Donna. It's all tagged in my bio. I would love to see you guys at another event. And that's pretty much it. I love you all so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.